A political ambush was set in a congressional hearing, but the hunter was about to become the prey. The C-SPAN feed locked onto Congresswoman Anya Sharma, a first-term Democrat known for her sharp legal mind, standing with a quiet intensity at the podium. Across the aisle, conservative firebrand Vance, a former media commentator, leaned forward with a challenging smile. He had just thrown down the gauntlet. "I've listened to your party line spin," Vance's voice cut through the room, "and I say it's time for a real debate, right here, right now." The chamber fell still. This was a calculated move, designed to create a viral moment and put the freshman lawmaker on the defensive. Sharma, a former constitutional scholar, simply adjusted her microphone. The lights glinted off her glasses as she organized a slim stack of papers. Every movement was deliberate. Vance had set a trap, confident he was about to dominate the headlines. He sat back, arms crossed, a victor's smirk already forming. But the next 90 seconds would defy every expectation. Sharma lifted her gaze, looking past Vance directly into the camera lens. "The challenge is accepted," she stated, her voice even and clear. What followed wasn't just a reply. It became a masterclass in political discourse. Before we break down this stunning exchange, make sure to subscribe to Debateverse for sharp, unbiased analysis of the moments that define our democracy. Vance's smirk wavered as Congresswoman Sharma laid out 3 documents with meticulous care. This calm preparation was not part of his plan. "Let's address your first claim," Sharma began, her tone measured. "You stated that our current economic policies have generated the highest inflation in decades. That's a powerful statement, Mr. Vance, but it's not supported by the full timeline." She held up a chart from the Treasury Department. "Inflation peaked at over 9%, she noted. "The most recent data shows it has declined to 3.5%, a drop of more than 60%. Can you clarify for the committee why your analysis omitted this downward trend?" Vance leaned in, his tone edged. "Because families are still hurting. Costs remain higher than before." "I'm not finished," Sharma replied firmly, yet without raising her voice. "You requested a debate, and debates follow a structure. You will have your opportunity after I complete my points." The committee chair, recognizing the departure from normal procedure, let it continue. The room was electric. "Now, on the subject of prices," Sharma continued. "Yes, inflation increases costs, but perspective is critical. This was a worldwide event following global lockdowns. The United States has, in fact, rebounded more swiftly than most other major economies." She slid a comparative graph across the table. Nations across Europe and North America experienced more severe and prolonged inflation under their own leadership. Vance shuffled his notes, his confidence visibly cracking. "My second point," Sharma pressed on, "addresses your assertion that this administration has caused significant job loss. The official records contradict this." She held up another sheet. "We have witnessed the creation of over 15 million new positions, the most robust job growth in modern history. Unemployment sits at a multi-generational low of 3.8%. She paused, letting the numbers settle. For context, the prior administration concluded its term with a net employment decline, a situation not seen in generations. A soft murmur of agreement came from her side of the aisle. Vance's neck flushed red as he scribbled. "So, Mr. Vance," Sharma continued, "are you suggesting that historic employment growth and near-record low joblessness constitute an economic failure?" She leaned forward slightly. "I am attempting to understand your definition of success." Vance shot back. "Those statistics are misleading. They ignore those who've left the workforce entirely. And these new roles are often part-time, replacing quality careers wiped out by poor policy." "That is inaccurate," Sharma stated calmly, lifting another report. "And here is the evidence. The Labor Department's broader unemployment measure, which includes discouraged workers, is also at a historic low." She pointed decisively. "And regarding industrial jobs, industry data confirms nearly 900,000 new manufacturing positions have been added since the start of this term, representing the fastest expansion in over 30 years. These are confirmed figures, not political opinion. In a debate of facts, preparation is the ultimate weapon. The camera found Vance, his face a mix of surprise and irritation. This was not the clip he had envisioned. Sharma proceeded, unwavering. Now, the third point, your allegation that federal spending is the primary driver of inflation. Nonpartisan budget analysts and economists widely agree that the crisis was predominantly fueled by supply chain disruptions, pent-up consumer demand, and international energy market instability. She displayed a timeline graphic linking economic indicators to world events. Observe that inflation began climbing globally before the key legislation was enacted, and surged again following overseas conflict. These were international patterns, not unique to our nation. Vance tried to interject, but Sharma raised a hand. Your turn will come, Mr. Vance. You wanted a formal debate. This is what that looks like. Even the chairman, checking the clock, seemed impressed by the disciplined, factual presentation. Sharma continued, her focus absolute. If your theory on spending were correct, inflation would have accelerated after the passage of the infrastructure and climate bills. The opposite occurred. Inflation decreased consistently as these policies were implemented. Turning to face Vance directly, she added, and this leads us to what truly counts: outcomes. You have criticized these initiatives repeatedly, but what is their real-world effect on American lives? She held up several charts. Under this administration, we've seen an unprecedented surge in new small business applications. Wages are now increasing faster than inflation, especially for middle and lower-income workers. Industrial investment is at its highest point in half a century. And unlike previous cycles, these gains are being distributed more evenly across all communities. The hearing room was now utterly silent. Even typically distracted members were captivated. Mr. Vance, Sharma said, her voice firm but respectful. You are entitled to your perspective. That is your right. But when you present viewpoints as irrefutable facts, particularly when they conflict with verifiable data, you do a disservice to the public trust. Democracy doesn't need louder arguments, it needs better facts. Vance leaned forward, trying to reclaim the initiative. The American people don't care about your selected numbers, Congresswoman. They care about what they pay at the supermarket and the service station. Families are suffering due to failed leadership, and no amount of political maneuvering will alter that reality. Sharma nodded slowly, her tone almost understanding. I share your concern for working families, Mr. Vance. That is precisely why truth and precision are non-negotiable. She picked up a final document. This is the latest Consumer Confidence Index, showing optimism at its highest point in years, rising for consecutive quarters. Looking straight into the camera, she concluded, and regarding those everyday concerns, this administration has limited insulin prices for seniors, finally allowed Medicare to bargain for cheaper prescription drugs, and broadened healthcare coverage to unprecedented levels. That is tangible economic advancement. What about the massive debt from all this expenditure? Vance interrupted, his voice rising. Who pays for that? Our descendants will be left with the bill. I'm glad you raised the national debt, Sharma responded, her tone calm but pointed. She lifted a chart tracking the fiscal shortfall. The federal deficit has been cut by more than half during this term, the most significant single-term deficit reduction ever recorded. For comparison, the preceding administration added trillions to the national debt before the global health crisis began. Vance's assured demeanor had dissolved into clear frustration. His planned viral moment had become a lesson in evidentiary debate. Noting the time, Sharma moved to conclude. I see our allotted time is nearly expired, so let me summarize. Is our economy perfect? No. There is always work to be done. But is it the catastrophe you describe? The evidence does not support that claim. She neatly stacked her papers. Mr. Vance, you issued this challenge believing our policies could not withstand rigorous examination. I have presented confirmed information from impartial sources. The American people deserve this caliber of discussion, grounded in evidence, not in emotional appeals or slogans. Turning to the chair, she added, I yield back my remaining time, though I am prepared to continue if Mr. Vance wishes to engage with the specific data presented. The camera switched to Vance, who was whispering urgently with an aide. The room stayed tense. The chairman broke the silence. Mr. Vance, do you wish to respond to Congresswoman Sharma's points? His voice was neutral, but the subtext was clear. Everyone present knew they had witnessed something exceptional. Vance straightened his papers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, he began, his usually sharp voice now carrying a slight quiver. What citizens must understand is that the other side will always use data to justify poor outcomes. Point of order, Mr. Chairman, Sharma interjected politely but firmly. Mr. Vance challenged me to a debate based on economic evidence, not political branding. I have cited the Treasury, the Labor Department, and other neutral bodies. I welcome a direct response to the figures I provided. A few members nodded. The chairman turned to Vance. Mr. Vance, do you have specific data that disputes the Congresswoman's presentation? Vance hesitated, flipping pages. Yes, the inflation metrics don't capture the actual experience of people. With respect, Sharma interjected, retaining her composure. I believe Mr. Vance is referencing anecdotal impressions, not hard economic data. Public perception is important, but it does not invalidate the official metrics we've reviewed. A murmur moved through the room. A senior member from Vance's own party was overheard on a hot mic muttering. He brought a knife to a gunfight. Visibly flustered but refusing to yield, Vance changed direction. Congresswoman, even if these are the official numbers, they don't paint the full picture. The metrics have been massaged to appear more favorable. Sharma's voice hardened a fraction, though she remained perfectly controlled. That is a significant accusation, Mr. Vance. Are you alleging that nonpartisan government statisticians are fabricating official data? That would be a profound claim requiring substantial proof. Vance quickly backtracked. I'm stating the numbers don't reflect daily life. Ask any parent buying groceries.
Ido, Sharma replied.
I speak with my constituents constantly. And yes, people feel pressure, which is exactly why accuracy is vital. We owe the public honest reporting. She raised another analysis. Federal reports show grocery costs have increased significantly since the global crisis began, with the sharpest rises during the supply chain collapse. However, in the past year, the rate of increase has slowed substantially. Americans deserve to hear about both the difficulties and the headway being made, not hyperbole from either party. Realizing he was cornered, Vance tried a final pivot. The American people know the truth. They live it, and they will be heard in the next election. Point of order, Mr. Chairman, Sharma said smoothly. Mr. Vance is now making campaign statements, not engaging with economic evidence. He invited a fact-based discussion, not a political speech. The point is well taken, the chairman said. Mr. Vance, please address the specific indicators. The camera closed in on Vance, his face tense. The exchange had completely backfired. He took a deep breath. The reality is, inflation is still too high, and working people continue to face struggles, he insisted. Mr. Vance, Sharma cut in, her patience thinning. You have repeated that general claim multiple times without engaging the data I presented. For the record, do you dispute the Treasury's inflation numbers? Do you challenge the job creation figures or the manufacturing data? The room went silent again. All eyes were on Vance. After a long pause, he finally replied, No, I don't dispute the specific numbers, but I assess their impact differently. A slight, knowing smile touched Sharma's lips. Then we have made progress, she said evenly. We agree on the facts, but differ on interpretation. That is a far more constructive place to be than denying the data itself. Turning to the committee, she concluded. Mr. Chairman, I believe I have met Mr. Vance's challenge. The evidence speaks for itself. Record job growth, a manufacturing revival, falling inflation, historic deficit reduction, and rising public confidence. These are not partisan claims. They are verified economic indicators from neutral federal sources. She gathered her papers. Mr. Vance is welcome to his opinions, but not to his own set of facts. The public deserves debates rooted in reality. The chairman nodded. Thank you, Congresswoman Sharma. Mr. Vance, any final response? Vance, visibly deflated, said quietly, I stand by my assessment of the economy. The public shares my concerns, despite the Congresswoman's data. As the hearing moved on, the atmosphere buzzed. Aides typed furiously. Reporters rushed to file. Social media ignited. In under 2 minutes, the dynamic had utterly reversed. What was intended as a viral takedown had instead showcased Sharma's command of policy and her calm, data-driven prowess. She hadn't just won the exchange. She had redefined the standards of political debate, proving that substance, when delivered with precision, can triumph over spectacle. If you believe in fact-based discourse, hit the like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. This is Debateverse, cutting through the noise.